Take it easy.
I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while.
In that case, I'll go order for us first. Please wait here.
Ooh, everything looks so good. People...
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of Spina di Rosula next time.
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone.
You, sure have your own way of doing things. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right?
Oh, true. Very true. In that case...
Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to order Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be...
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward.
Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking! We were so close.
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning... To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability. It's just that a different perspective is required. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. Which is exactly why the Spina di... Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist.
Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they...
It's all right. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal. Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended.
I see. So, your primary objective, which has been foiled... I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect you'll be waiting for quite a while, considering...
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine, and that it...
Well, would you consider some more, unique?
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you. Chock full?
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's clock. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play.
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off.
All right, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers. Don't let her go back to sleep until I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do...
That might work, but that's not really the problem.
Valid point. I overlooked that part. I was just thinking about leveraging a person's... all right, no more joking around. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know, strike while the iron is hot and all.
Huh? Paimon, did you drink my Fanta?
Was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention and the cup was...
No, it's fine. We're just about...
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind...
Is that so? Huh. Well, if we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuffed. so full. Paimon can barely float anymore. Nah, that would be so normal. You know.
Okay. As for expenses this month, we're...
Hey, Navia, what are you...
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the spina di rosu...
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again.
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, in any case, I wish you smooth...
See ya! People around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
Vache.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you hearing voice? Ugh. That's kinda spooky.
Vache?
Hey, why are you still walking towards it? There might be... Huh? Hang on. Paimon can... Hey, Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Vache, are you... my dear Vache? No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know Vache? Wait. Who am I? My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. So many fragments dissolved amidst the tide. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land? Yes, that is what I was once. But now, I do not know how I came to be like this either. I also remember going to many places. I loved adventure. No matter where I went, Vache would go with me. I knew how... But now... we can no longer go back. No! Our reunion no longer has any meaning. The thought of me gives him no succor. So let it lie forgotten beneath the waters. If you meet Vache, tell him not to look for me. Tell him to move on. That is the only... Perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters, losing consciousness. If only I could have comforted him. Is that what you call it? Dissolving? If anything, it was a state of neither fear nor frenzy, with only an endless peace. I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time. I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to go, I think. Farewell, then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence.
Wake up! Come on, hurry! Navia's outnumbered!
Demoiselle, look out!
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex. Chlorand? Quick, now's our chance! I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Clorand. But before I do so, could you explain how you managed to show up here?
I followed you. It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking, is it not?
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust.
Do not speak of my father!
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Clorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech. I believe we...
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be...
I doubt I know much more than you, but I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances is very powerful. Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked it's taken them this long to act again. And what about these Gardamex? I thought only those associated with the Maison Gardiennage could...
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the authorities to enforce the law. I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a private force of sorts.
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league, then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
I will continue investigating no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. Regardless, thank you for your help today, Clorand. But...
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you. Good day, all.
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Clorand was being sincere with you.
I know, she's...
Oh, thank goodness! Paimon thought we were done for! Those Gardamex came out of nowhere while you were unconscious, and Nadia and her gang saved us! Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Clorand who came out to save us too! We got lucky there. Paimon probably couldn't have fought them off otherwise.
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. As such, we're still partners. There's no need to thank me.
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account of her...
All right, you two. That's an...
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You sure did show...
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon contributed somehow?
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
How did...
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said. That the Fanta tasted kind of salty and icky. Fanta only comes in sweet flavors. So how could it have tasted salty? The cup?
So the Fanta had been spiked with water from the primordial?
Yes. So if you hadn't drunk that cup from...
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for...
Huh. Really?
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate. But whoever did this left no trace at all. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger and hurried here as quickly as I could.
But why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his name.
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of, and almost got their name in the process. Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the prime...
Well, it can't be coincidence that the traveler fainted just now. She said that she heard that voice calling for Vash. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too. But it was real faint. Does that mean the primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro when it's used on people who are not from Fontaine?
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Well, let's hear it, shall we? Oh, that is important. Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness. Since he saw that young woman dissolve, he was at least at the crime scene. But he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the primordial seawater. Yes, thank you. This is very important information indeed. Oh, you mean you'll help us investigate?
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't really count. That means we're still partners, right? And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us get off the hook.
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are...
You talk too much. Well, in that case, let's head back to one of our bases, shall we? I'll arrange accommodations for you. We also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as partners.
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our base is definitely secure.
It's right up ahead, but let's make sure we weren't followed first.
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone
Very good. But let's not let our guard...
I shall find rooms for our respected guest.
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's continue.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
This is your base? It's not quite what Paimon imagined.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact...
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But
to be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge.
Your father... He was the previous boss of Spina
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to explain.
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the street. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend...
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he 3 years later, I still don't understand why he did that. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his...
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom of that case.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in. But, however, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are...
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more than the two of... Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be... Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our...
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious?
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something... People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy...
But how could... never mind.
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the duel. What?
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good as saying... Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go...
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was resolute in the arena, there was only ever one choice.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just can't...
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel. You don't have to force yourself to do that.
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she ensure Demoiselle Navia's safety. Yes, that is our understanding as well.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right, anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if... thanks. You two should go and rest.
Yeah.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We...
Paimon slept so well. Huh? Navia? Where?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back? Were you with...
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding...
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such critical new...
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone.
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle.
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No. There is one ray of hope, and that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. A place where detailed files on all... If the Oceanette you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should...
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice for you. In that case, let's go talk to him. Aren't you coming along, Navia?
No, it's nothing. Let's go... The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with
Huh. This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Nervalet's files are really secure.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or...
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy, so please leave...
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the...
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business.
All right, then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just inside.
Thanks so much.
Take it easy.
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalet. We only lied to get in because we didn't know it.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the files.
Who knew that Nervalet would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right, then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuville.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply...
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the... You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say... It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything. Oh well, In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rain. It's raining.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today. How strange.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder...
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait.
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? And then, yeah. And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained...
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later? Great. Let's go then.
Whoa! What a huge ship! Why would a ship be anchored at a place like...
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually... My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is a gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious... Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sea. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself...
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began after all.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most... You said before that you still had some business at the court.
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You still remember, right, Malus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call...
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, at a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of potion?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using... If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers. All of whom recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, the man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques, but then we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Huh? How did that happen? Aren't they on the same side?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all over... Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some cost, but, considering it now, it's almost certain that they... You're right. We still don't know what happened. But
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past action. I think this third person is probably the key. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, there is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect... Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my... I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girl...
Sylvia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite...
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you...
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doc and the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, all the danger would pass on to you. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hand, but as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful were still far preferable than losing.
So he chose to die in silence. So that
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, Demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for this, I'm sure he'd be extremely...
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight? No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never... Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, but thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where Synth is produced. Essentially, when he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specific... But if you want to use it against the enemy...
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go...
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that there's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to... But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed. But...
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine authorities?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may...
That's true. Seems my father really... But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we...
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and Demoiselle's will. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake.
Thank you for all of that, Malus. Have you discovered anything new in the past few years?
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy, when I announced orders to the organization's members, if the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals, after several rounds of testing and investigative training. The first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior.
Huh? Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most. Thanks to his position within Boss, there's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabriel.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're...
So, they're like a sister organization?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting, it's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their...
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still men. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could...
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite regularly. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry.
Of course. And thank you, Malus.
You're too kind, my lady. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter, if it might help, you could also pay them a visit.
Oh, thank you so much, Melus.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and end this case one...
It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy your
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Melus.
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened, I didn't know how...
If it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain.
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring...
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was... I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what...
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good man, right?
Yeah, Papa was a really good man.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword. He must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got turned into water right in front.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth. And it'll be—
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside. And after my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen his case. Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was feeling pretty upbeat that day. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that we would hear 2 gunshots ring out right after? My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands. All we could do was look back and forth.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the— But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third person there who was turned—
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring in— The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callis ended up with the gun because he seized it? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with— He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why he committed to the duel. I'll tell you everything, once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then, I'll leave Mr. Callis's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callis the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in my side since the day it was invented. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callis. Even after so many— But it was Mr. Callis's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Ros. No matter what others might say, he'll always be the man I respect the most.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know— Hey, Thierry! It's me!
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard—
Oh, so you've caught news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you—
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Callis did a fantastic job running the town. Building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many— It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these 2 friends of yours?
Ah, yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and my father's may be related.
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? If you want to go through the original files...
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you.
Of course. Without them, why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to force...
Well, you see, just recently, we were... So, if you hypothetically...
If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. If you try to make unreasonable demand, removing a serial number is also not... So I can promise you, they're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you for the vote of confidence, Navia. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your investment. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need...
Hello. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You can just say Navia's looking for him.
Sure. I will let him know right away.
Ah, Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be, so
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need to stress. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the Opera House. I'm sure you saw everything too.
Yes, I've never seen anything so strange.
Oh, you were at the Opera House too?
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder myth? I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite impressive. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your exploit.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves drunk.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right?
Yes. I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're investigating?
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can...
Oh, and what makes you...
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial... If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it...
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that Callus sought so dearly, but rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, you can always return there. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last mora to...
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. I'm going to... Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making Then I heard the sound of a gunshot.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it takes.
Take it easy.
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversation.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, anyway. Even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's...
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of...
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had... If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once...
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his... Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a... Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after...
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite... But who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Thierry, you say? Huh. It is possible, but I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about...
Yeah, had he actually tampered with the mecha? If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and...
Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. It's still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his... Florent? It is true that he was closest to my father, but as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a mecha army?
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, who could it be? You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these 3, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards? Did something
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
Wait, how? None of our investigations have...
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned
Right, because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah, and it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand.
Huh?
Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as expected of my... Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I'll stall them. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to...
We'll help you, just like you helped...
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver. When...
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson. It's our hope that you're...
Thank you so much.
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Aranias, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to let's go and try to find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth product. Ah, you're right. An important place like this is back. Navia's probably arguing up a story.
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for...
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the... Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly. And we have made very... In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of...
That case had nothing to do with him! You've got the wrong man!
Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to... But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless... We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default. Correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all the... So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières!
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's...
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Commit, and if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making...
Yes,
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on... Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand... Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that...
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably...
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the... Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard... If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarande in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries. These are the known facts about the case.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, in truth, the third person shot after that, the true culprit... Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guards... However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the prime... The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end, he reconsidered, and instead shared everything with Callus. hoping to see. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility and had sent out another assassin. Something's This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. But now, it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene, and that they were turned into water after committing the murder. Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus...
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the...
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your...
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two things. One, do you have the evidence to back up your claim?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home!
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a wreck, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette,
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little...
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the lab.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. Then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved...
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth, but what good would that do? How had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice? But by staying silent, we retain the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as... And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this
So, you mean to say... your father intended to die in the duelist...
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have... But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So... during the duel, did you believe that Callus was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twist. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and—
Right? What she said was fascinating, but
Wait, weren't they just talking about this?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via— In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And, at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, on top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing?
know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some— Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you— But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah, well. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's— But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my—
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first— Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings, but aren't you going against all of his wishes and He wished for you to become more rational, collected, once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things.
This isn't just about me, and it never had. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved one, many people's images are flashing before my eyes. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher? Oh, so you do know that.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never—
I was waiting for you to say that.
One with nature.
Quietly now. Gotcha.
The wind knows me.
Whoa! The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place. Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. The water level is rising! Now we can swim to the top! But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
One with nature. Into the wind.
Quietly now.
The wind knows me.
Take it easy. Let's light it up!
Now the path is clear! Let's go!
Busted. Here comes the catch. Take it easy. Quietly now.
Everybody stand back!
One One with nature.
Take it easy.
After all that, we finally made it. Though, as expected, that's right. Then let's hurry up and find some evidence. What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... Huh? You mean the girls from this... And all the boxes of things. These names. Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here. And it's full of water! That means this is where they make all the synth! And that, if you dilute it with normal water, you'll get... Paimon will take notes on this encrypt... Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes Detective Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report. Yep, it's about this should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the old dog's a real menace to... He can act whenever he... I concur. Let's send someone to... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. They're all just so evil. What's this over here? Looks like some kind of place for research. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. How can someone write something that terrible and you read the rest? Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did all of the... Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... So that's it! Vache was no victim, but personally no, that's not it either! If that's the case, in any case... Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain... Mixing in prod... Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep! We've looked at almost everything here and it's... Yeah! We haven't found anything that... No wonder even Nervalette wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably that way. Even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify... Sure thing. Paimon won't admit to... You take that side and Paimon will take this side. Check everything carefully. Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either. Whoa, really? Let Paimon see. Vinier. Isn't that Vache's lover's name? Then you found her diary. Aw, it's just a normal... So many! A whole page's worth! But they're all crossed out. The final name she decided... Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on...
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that...
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly...
I was waiting for you to...
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial evidence.
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything! After your lover, Vinier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you! You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vache!
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, do you know where you went wrong? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise...
Do you really think I wanted to do any of... Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage, they said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice. Your Vinier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes. But I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go, I can't follow. So if I can't, I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed Callus still got... I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot...
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Go...
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! I still need to save Vinier. Vinier! Please, Vinyere, don't think badly of me.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any basis.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like...
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize... The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vache and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vinyere. During an underwater expedition, Vinyere accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vache as a result. Vache learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vinyere back. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poisson. During the course of his research, Vache discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to... However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, after exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vache decided to assassinate their president Callus at a banquet. Although the assassination did not go as Vache expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving, and just recently, Vache attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using a similar method. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vache's machinations that he was... Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearance. The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against Mr. Vache. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Miss guilty.
Guards! Take Vache away.
Good. It's what he deserves.
With that, the serial disappearances case is over.
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well-spoken guy?
Yippee! We have Navia bring the bad guy to justice! He's hurt so many innocent people and now he's finally getting what he did. Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely...
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come.
Yeah. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula's still doing well with me at the helm.
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got—
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has anything to do with me.
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it—
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right?
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct— The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique, guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent? What's with this verdict? Is your justice—
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the chief—
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this—
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is By law, the final verdict of the court. Guards, please take the suspect into custody.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Nouvelette, what's going on? Shouldn't they have been cleared already?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it! I don't know what happened there either!
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible.
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blindsided by the Oratrice's result.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea what—
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. And, of course, if you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial everything he's done, not to all shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble intentions, as well as the absolute correctness of the Oratrice's verdict. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense—
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal—
All right. Even though we feel pretty— After all, he's done plenty of bad— you showed when you took him down. Who are you really?
I'm the Chief Justice of Fontaine, of course. If officers of the law lack the strength and capability to enforce it, then it makes...
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing?
Stop resisting arrest! Cease, or we'll add another—
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Va? I erased all records of that name. So, unless...
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But the Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me all along. Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killer—
Paimon agrees! Why should we give him what he—
This request, is it worth it?
Of course! Wait, no, it's worth it.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just a Very well. I will go—
Your Honor, I fear—
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case, I shall leave him—
Thank you, Your Honor. Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking—
Vache!
Ah!
Yes, that's it! So you are—
Vinier, it's me!
Vache?
I'm here! Where are you, Vinier?
Hey, wait! Be careful!
Vinier, is that you? It's me, Vache! Vinier!
Vache? Why did you come? Didn't I say— You look a lot older than I remember.
It's been more than 20 years, all this time. Only the thought of bringing— I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to— Vinier, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could live—
But Vache, if you had—
What are you saying?
If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney one day. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and If not for you, I would at least have been able— It's all because of your selfishness.
Wait, you are not Vinier.
You're right. I am not Vinier. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousness, our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemonade. The only one I am not.
Why? But then—
She doesn't want to see you anymore. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do any and everything. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? You are a liar, a heartless murderer. The only thing you are not is from the moment your first victim died and her consciousness.
No! Yeah, she can't hate me.
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, but on top of that, she also said that. She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Vache.
Vache? 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 Drown.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to...
Well met, partner. I knew something great was going to happen when I woke up and...
Even this weather can't put a damper on.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia! It's been a few days. Paimon's already...
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to work with and always bring home...
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days now.
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making non-stop Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. This time, though, everyone in Poisson, and...
So his name's definitely been...
It's been the dearest wish of Demoiselle.
That blasted... Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte just after... well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she...
Huh? So you know Charlotte too? The Charlotte?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula. I believe the story was called The Truth. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do it.
Oh yeah, she told us about that.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys...
Now that's another thing to look...
Oh, and in other news, I also took Clarand out for a meal.
Oh, are you two on better terms?
While you were investigating Vache's headquarters, Clarand gave testimony on my father's... It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean...
Oh, that's great. Paimon also thought...
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps... Oh, actually, there's...
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave and tell him the truth. And on top of that... that includes...
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want to go too. We also think Callus is a...
Sure thing. I'd like you two to share...
And in that case, everyone, let's be off. Considering the recent weather, we'll be lucky if we can...
Yeah, you're right. It's been raining non-stop for a few days now. This is where my father's grave is. To be perfectly honest, even I haven't been back here for a long time.
Huh? There's someone there already. Wait.
Hmm?
Isn't that Nervalette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respects.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown, but still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human. In any case, why did you come to Poisson?
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice anyway? There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. Which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been nothing more. But Mr. Callis proved me utterly and decisively wrong. If not for his sacrifice, the serial disappearances case would have remained unsolved to this day. Mr. Callis made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and for many people completely unrelated to him. And in the end, from a certain perspective, one could say that he did it all for the sake of justice. A justice that's higher than life itself. So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callis in person. I should have noticed all of this much sooner. This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for days. That high and mighty chair in the Opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work and perseverance.
I'm sorry for being mad at you before. So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside, huh? That reminds me of Silver, one of my guys.
Sorry about that. Self-expression is not one of my strong suits.
Didn't I just say you don't need to apologize?
Ah, so Navia and Neuvillette seem to have made their peace as well. Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till after the... Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before. Did Paimon do anything rude there? Huh? Oh, Paimon didn't know that was a thing. But, oh no. Paimon hopes Miss Navia won't be too mad. Anyway, Neuvillette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like...
Take it easy.
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your respects to her father?
Mm-hmm. We ran into Navia on the streets today, so we just followed her.
I see. Then is there something that I can help you with?
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you like this, since you're usually super big.
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my pleasure to return the favor. Your sibling, another blonde-haired traveler. I'm sorry, but I've never seen anyone who matches that description. If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our laws to the letter, and had no reason to appear on the stage of the Opera Epiclese. Is there anything else you'd like to...
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that special water as water from the primordial sea, but...
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after extensive research. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea we know today. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea. You could say it nurtured much of the life on this planet.
Huh. So it really was where everything began. It makes sense to call it primordial then.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vache discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a remnant from a truly ancient age.
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything, Monsieur Neuvillette. But if that's the case, then why would people...
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life, suddenly... To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving Farina crying alone on her throne, but the sins of the people will be finally washed away for good. Does that appropriately summarize the version you've heard?
That's right! It was Linny that told us back then. And that about covers all the main points.
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this prophecy directly. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world before she passed away.
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro Archon? What?
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved. We should be more... Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, she has been collecting information and intelligence from across Tevat for this purpose. If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum left to Farina.
But with Farina being the way she is, can we really trust her to solve it?
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? My apologies. My investigation has still not reached its conclusion. However, I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice was not rendered arbitrarily.
But you also said you thought he was innocent.
For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I give on each case. As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is integrated into it. Not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, which is all to say, I have been prepared for a situation like...
So when Linny told us that he heard a human voice from the room...
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology all its own. Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. She managed to bluff her way through it, though, with her time-tested twin tricks of bravado and drama. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger will just have to bide his time in the fortress of Meripede. If we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate him to the fullest extent allowed by the law.
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is a no-holds-barred fight with you.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquility behind and return to Palais Memoria.
You really are super busy, Monsieur Neuvillette. Paimon thought you only came here to pay your respects today because you had the day off.
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work around the clock as well. This is me.
All right. You've got a... Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.